Today, we're doing something a little different. We're performing a forensic autopsy on the modern financial system. You know, the average American household actually earns more today than at any point in history. And yet, the math of 1995 just doesn't apply anymore. Back then, a good salary bought you a house, 2 cars, and a solid retirement. But today, in 2026, a 6-figure salary often just buys you a front-row seat to your own financial collapse. What we're looking at today are the specific, systemic traps designed to bleed that salary dry. So let's stop guessing and start auditing this thing together to see where the leaks actually are.
67%. Just let that sink in. Despite earning literally more than ever, 67% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now. And I want to be super clear right off the bat. If you're in this group, you aren't just bad with money. You're actually the victim of a high-precision wealth extraction machine. Most people are kind of just sleepwalking through their bank statements, assuming that just one more promotion is going to lift the pressure. But it won't. You simply cannot out-earn a system that's designed to extract wealth faster than your income can grow.
So let's jump right into crime scene 1, the W-2 mirage and the illusions of debt.
We've got to talk about what I call the W-2 mirage. It's this crazy trap where your gross salary and modern financing options completely hide the stark reality of your actual survival budget. Let's say you just got a raise to $100,000. The system wants you to think you have over $8,000 a month to spend. But let's look at a real example. Meet Sarah. Sarah earns $100,000. Her parents are super proud. She just moved into a luxury 1-bedroom. She's got a great aesthetic going. But then, Uncle Sam takes $15,000 in federal tax. FICA takes over $7,000. Her state takes another $5,000. Health insurance takes $6,000 just so she doesn't go bankrupt if she gets a cold. Before Sarah even pays her rent, over $33,000 has been extracted. That $100,000 salary, it's actually a $66,000 survival budget. She's functionally living on a 1998 entry-level salary while trying to maintain a 2026 lifestyle. The whole system depends on you spending based on that $100K number while living on the $66K reality. And that gap right there, that is exactly where credit card debt is born.
And that mirage, it feeds right into our next trap, the 84-month prison of modern car loans. The average new car payment right now is hovering over $800. But the dealership is never going to tell you about the massive opportunity cost heist happening behind the scenes. They want you focused entirely on that monthly payment because they know the human brain doesn't easily calculate 15 years of lost compounding interest. If you lock into an 84-month loan, it's 7% interest. You're paying roughly $67,000 for a $50,000 car. But what if you took that same $800 and invested it into the S&P 500 for those 7 years instead? You'd have $88,000.
Okay, let's just pause for a second, because the financial gravity of this next number is staggering. If you took that $88,000 you saved and just let it sit and compound for another 20 years, well, that $50,000 car didn't actually cost you $50,000. It cost you $1.4 million in lost retirement wealth. You were essentially buying a $70,000 costume just to look like someone who doesn't have to worry about money, which is exactly what makes you someone who has to worry about money.
Now, we also really need to talk about the equity myth. The truth is, owning a home is often just renting from the bank, but with a way higher maintenance bill. The real estate industry has basically sold us all this lie that renting is just throwing money away. But with interest rates where they are today, just look at a 30-year amortization table. On a typical new home with 5% down, your monthly interest alone is more than local rent. For the first 10 years of that mortgage, you really aren't building equity. You're just a high-end tenant generating massive profit for the bank. When you add in property taxes, HOA fees, and the absolute guarantee that your roof will eventually fail, you start to realize that for the first decade, much of your wealth building is strictly bank profit.
Moving on, let's look at crime scene 2, the consumption taxes.
We're pivoting now from massive structural debts down to the daily lifestyle leaks, what I like to call the convenience siphon. This is how convenience culture and digital rentals systematically drain liquidity out of modern earners, literally one tiny transaction at a time. Think about DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. Guys, these are not food services. They are wealth extraction algorithms. The economics are brutal. A $12 burger at the restaurant magically becomes a $22 burger through the app. That is an 83% markup just for the privilege of not driving 10 minutes. By the time you add inflated menu prices, delivery fees, service fees, and the tip, you are paying what amounts to an exhaustion tax. You work so hard to earn the money that you're now too tired to cook, so you end up trading your future financial freedom for a lukewarm burrito.
And honestly, it gets so much worse when you zoom out. Think about it. If you pay a $15 premium on delivery just twice a week, you are spending over $1,500 a year on laziness. If that same money were invested properly, it becomes $7,800 annually.
every single year you maintain that habit, that is what you are giving up. These apps are specifically designed by absolute geniuses to minimize friction. Your only defense against them is checking the raw math.
Then there's subscription slavery. We have completely shifted from an ownership economy to a perpetual rental economy. You don't own your music, your movies, or your software anymore. You just pay a monthly fee for permission to exist in the digital world. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, Spotify, Amazon Prime, they so easily aggregate into a $180 a month leak. That's $2,100 a year. These companies intentionally fragmented their content to force multiple subscriptions, basically reconstructing the old cable bundle we all tried to escape. The simple antidote here, the one-in, one-out rule. Just rotate your services sequentially, because renting your life month by month is exactly how wealth evaporates.
And of course, we can't forget the status tax. I mean, why on earth does a hoodie cost $1,200 when a high-quality plain blank costs $40? Because you are paying to be a walking billboard for a billionaire. That $1,160 difference isn't for utility, it's a signaling fee. It's a fee you pay to strangers to show you have money to waste. It's literally a tax on the insecure. The people actually winning the money game are driving a paid-off Toyota while their brokerage account pays enough dividends to buy 10 Ferraris they will never actually purchase.
All right, let's head into crime scene 3, the trap of ego and liquidity.
So these are the specific cognitive traps that really hit high earners, preventing them from turning their massive cash flow into true foundational stability. This brings us to the Henry trap. High earner, not rich yet. This defines a massive percentage of modern professionals. This is the earner making 150 grand who is literally one bad Tuesday away from total collapse. As your income goes up, your minimum standard for a car, a vacation, and wine goes up too. You get a $20,000 raise, and suddenly your lifestyle costs inflate by $21,000. Why? Because you feel you deserve the upgrade. But listen to me. True net worth is not your car or your LinkedIn title. It is simply the number of days you could survive if you lost your job today.
A huge reason these high earners fall behind is because they completely ignore their shadow portfolio. Just think about the number 100 for a second. If your employer offers a 401k match and you don't take it, you're literally handing back a guaranteed 100% return on your money on day one. Let me be clear, no stock, no crypto, no side hustle will ever give you that. Yet billions of dollars are left on the table every year because people want an extra $200 in their paycheck today to buy things that lose value tomorrow. If you aren't maxing out that match, you are effectively a donor to your company's bottom line.
So what this all comes down to is what happens to your brain when you lack liquidity. Financial stress is an absolute cognitive performance killer. When you have $0 in the bank, your brain switches into pure survival mode. You stop making strategic long-term decisions because you're entirely focused on figuring out how to stretch $23 until Friday. A $1,000 emergency fund isn't just savings, guys. It's a cognitive performance enhancer. It buys you brain space. And once you stretch that out to a $10,000 buffer, you stop being a prey animal in the economic forest, and you finally buy the peace of mind to just say no.
Okay, enough of the doom and gloom. Let's get to the antidote, the boring rich exit code.
So how do we actually get out of this mess? Well, we automate. We've done the autopsy on the threats, and now we need the automated solution to stop the bleeding. You see, willpower is a finite resource. It's completely exhausted by 3 p.m. on a Wednesday. Systems, however, are infinite. Here are the 3 steps. First, direct deposit. Route 20% of your check directly to a separate brokerage account before you ever even see it. If you don't see it, you don't miss it. Second, the sweep. Every Sunday night, any single dollar in your checking account over your $1,000 baseline automatically gets moved to your emergency or index fund. No debating, just moving. And third, the index. Put 100% of those long-term savings into a low-cost total world stock market index fund. Stop trying to pick the next Tesla. Just own the entire global economy and let time do the heavy lifting for you. Let's summarize everything we've talked about into a simple playbook you can implement right away. First, follow the 24-10 car rule. 20% down, 4-year max loan, keeping your total transportation costs under 10% of your take-home pay. Next, keep your mortgage under 28% of your net pay so your house doesn't end up owning you. Use that one-in, one-out rule for digital subscriptions. Treat your 401k match like a heist and take absolutely every penny. Build that $10,000 liquidity buffer to protect your brain and relentlessly automate your index investing. Understanding the massive gap between what things cost and what they are actually worth is your only way out of the machine. To wrap things up, I really want to leave you with a question to chew on. Look, the marketing budgets of 2026 exist for one reason: to manufacture your desire. The financing options exist simply to remove the friction of you not having enough money. But you are the auditor now. Wealth is built in the silence between your income and your ego. So the question is, will you keep trying to look successful or will you actually start being stable? You can't do both in the beginning. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. It's time to take back your liquidity, and I'll see you next time.